Welcome back to the Should You Read series, this episode being Security Analysis by Benjamin Graham and David Dodd. So you might ask the question, what's in the book? And the sections dedicated include Part 1, which is Survey and Approach, Part 2, which is Fixed Value Investments, Part 3, which is Senior Securities with Speculative Elements, Part 4, Theory of Common Stock Investment, Part 5, Analysis of the Income Account, Part 6, Balance Sheet Analysis, and Part 7, finally, additional aspects of security analysis. And all of this is in a short 851-page book with small print. I'll start by going into what I didn't like about security analysis. The first is the number of pages dedicated to how they wish things would be done instead of how they are done. I understand they are putting their ideas out there, but still. Sure, maybe it would be nice if investors could do everything they suggested, but it seems more like I'm reading them vent rather than reading to learn. I don't like this at all. If I was in charge, everything would be better. Okay, Grandpa, relax. The second point was how dry and boring it is to read. I'm super into finance, so I could go through being interested. However, even I was sometimes amazed by how boring they could be. The Intelligent Investor was somewhat dry, but this was a completely different level. There's no way I'm remembering this information. I can't even read without falling asleep every other paragraph. The third point is the outdated information. And this one is somewhat unfair, but it's still a negative for the book. There were a couple of things I read in the book that I've never heard before, so I looked them up online. It was then that I would find that what they were talking about was changed by the SEC, so it was no longer allowed. Can't believe that ancient text you found doesn't tell me how to fix my iPad. Really, kid? Now we'll get into what I liked about security analysis, and the first point is the very specific guidelines given in the book. The minimum required safety numbers based on the security type, and easy to follow rules. The second point of what I liked about security analysis was the large number of examples given. There are plenty of charts and data to show their claims, and not all pages are just walls of text. The third point is italicizing important phrases and lessons in the book. Sometimes when reading the small print it gets hard to follow, so when going through the chapter it's nice to have the main ideas be presented in an easy way. And now we'll get into what is, in my opinion, the best chapters in the book. The top 3 chapters include what is number 1, chapters 8 to 11. It's all bundled up into one topic but spread throughout different chapters, so I decided to put them together. It is specific standards for bond investment. Number 2, Chapter 39, Price-Earnings Ratios for Common Stocks, and Chapter 37, Significance of the Earnings Record. So the third best chapter, which is Significance of the Earnings Record, Chapter 37, the main ideas is how much impact earnings trends have on stock prices, and things to consider when trending up or down. It's going up! Happy days! Some other information for this chapter is the concept of earning power, the use of qualitative data with quantitative data, and average versus trends. The second best chapter, Price-Earnings Ratios for Common Stocks, Chapter 39. The main ideas include limits on investment pricings and investments versus speculations. Other information in this chapter includes limitations of stock appraisals, exact appraisal being impossible, allowances for changes in capitalization, and allowances for participating interests. In conclusion, that business is worth exactly $1,253,912.51. How in the world did you get to that very specific number? And the number 1 best chapters would be the specific standards for bond investment, chapters 8 to 11. The main idea is strict guidelines on safe numbers for bond investments. Look both ways before crossing the road. That's a rule to follow and be safe with. What an easy rule to follow that will save myself from trouble. Thanks. Other information from these chapters can include short maturities and their opinion on that, bond comparisons between the different types, opinion on lien, and the differences between fixed value investments. The question then becomes, should you read security analysis? And if you're a brand new, no clue type of investor, I do not recommend you reading this. The book is intimidating to hold, let alone read. The chances are high that you'll get frustrated having to look information up, and it's written assuming you understand business language. I don't know what any of this says. Oh, honey, the book is upside down. What if you're a somewhat new investor where you still understand the business language but you don't have a lot of experience? I would still say probably not. The best parts of the book are the strict guidelines on what is and is not safe, and those are things that you can find online or in some of my previous videos. Not to mention that it's extremely dry and might make you fall asleep, like Ferris Bueller's Teacher, so unless you're super into finance, then this doesn't matter, but unless that's the case, I don't recommend it. What about the person who has moderate to lots of experience? Well, in this case, I would say yes. There's more intricate information that you can learn about with security analysis, and it's interesting to see their perspectives on what does and does not make things safe and what they feel makes for sound evaluations. I never thought about it that way. So if you're interested in reading security analysis, I do have a link for this book in the description down below. And if you enjoyed the video, I recommend you smashing the like button to show you enjoy it, and subscribe and hit the bell if you're new here. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode.